I mean, I kind of hard code some stuff here. Instead of just doing the default of ID, I would just have it as my PO number, right? And instead of doing auto number, so when you relate, whatever you do for your primary foreign keys, make sure you're consistent, okay? So if I just say number here, then I need to make sure when I'm linking it, it also has number, or else I'm gonna get an error message, okay? Right? And I'm not gonna worry about the description. You know, if you're billing this for a client, you would, you know, you document a lot of stuff. But for your homework, we're gonna just do the basics. So we got PO number, we're gonna need vendor number, right? Oops, vendor number, and that's gonna be a number, okay? And then I've got employee number, and that's gonna be a number. What else do I got? I got date of purchase, right? I'm not being fancy, just doing it as a date, simple. And then I have total amount, right? And I'll put that as dollars, currency. I'll just do it like that. Okay? That's my data table. So all I need to do is do a save as. Let's see. Oh, I think I closed this. Database one. I'll put in my USB drive here so we don't screw it up. Okay. Homework one. Okay. All right. So I got purchases. I need to enable this content. And now I need to create another data table. So I just click on the create, and it says in my ribbon, the table. Okay? Now I'm back in that same view that doesn't help me, so I just click down in here and toggle into design view. It's going to tell me, okay, you need to call it purchase inventory. All right. And again, here I'm going to have my purchase, and I don't have to be exact in the field name. What I have to be exact in is the data type. Okay? So even if I did something shorthand like that, as long as I had number in there, right? That's what I had before. Okay. And then what else do I have? Item number?
Item number.
Okay. And that's a number. And, but wait a second. I'm supposed to have this as my primary key. These two together are supposed to be my primary key. So all I do is I take my mouse and I, you know, stay down on the left button on my mouse to highlight both of them, and then I can make them the primary key. Okay? So on this table you should see two keys there to represent it's a primary key. And I'll show you how we link that together. Okay? So then we have quantity. I'll make that a number as well. Purchase price, I'll have that as currency. And then extended amount, currency. Okay? And I'm not asking you to put data in, I'm just asking you to build the structure. All right? So that's good, and we should be able to save that one. Okay, so now I've got these two data tables. Well, how do I link them together? Is I go into database tools and I click on relationships. Okay? And it shows you're going to have your 5 tables that you've already built. Okay? And so do it after you've built all of your tables. I've got a basic video that shows you how to do some of this stuff from an old homework, but I'll post it on Piazza if you think that's going to be helpful. Or I'll just make a new video for you guys. You let me know. So I just click the add, or I can double click and it adds. All right? So now I kind of have this work area where I can visually see these data tables. So that's why you know why I draw the boxes on the board. Right? Don't be overwhelmed, Florence. Yes?
Just go back to relationships. I missed that part after that. You said you click on relationships and then what do you do?
Yeah. So I'm going to say no on the layout. So I go into database tools, and you're gonna see in the top ribbon menu area, it's gonna be called relationships. And you click on that, and all the tables that I built, and I can either double click on it, or I can just physically say add each one. You see it getting dropped into kind of my work area, okay? And here, oh, what
You
happened
put
to
two of the same tape down.
Ah, there we go. Good. See, this is how you, when you screw up, you say hide table. And you're like, oh, well, wait a second. What about that other table? How am I gonna get that one then, right? Show table, right?
Wait, so does hide table delete it, or does it just?
This is just your work area. All you're doing in your work area, this gray space, is you wanna connect up, physically connect up your data tables. So what you don't want is to have the same table and connecting the same table, right? You do wanna keep it clean. But basically, you see I call this one purchase number and this one PO number, and I said it doesn't matter? I hope that's true. No, because I had it as number, I shouldn't get an error. But if you find that you get an error, it could be because of that, okay? And here's what you need to do. Enforce referential integrity, okay? I think I will do a video, because I know this is a lot for you guys, okay? So, but it may
Well,
happen tomorrow
if I'm
night.
recording it, can I just
Oh, you
upload
are?
it
Oh,
to?
good, then upload it on Piazza for
Okay.
everybody. Excellent. Perfect. And you're able to see all this?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, so we click create, and look, we've got our physical link, okay? Don't forget to save it.
Does it matter which way you drag the link?
No.
Okay.
Now, let's say, oh, I connected item number to PO number, and it didn't give me an error because, you know, Access doesn't have critical thinking skills, okay? So if I highlight that and I click my delete button, I'm gonna say, yes, I need to delete that. So let's say if I did that, which I know is wrong, and I create it, but Access is still gonna let me do it. That's why as a designer, you have to kind of be thinking about your data and how they relate to one another to make sure you're not gonna get garbage.
Is it because they're both numbers?
Because they're both numbers, that's correct. Yeah, it only has so much built-in intelligence, right? Which is good, that's why they need accountants. All right, so in this case, and you ask, does it matter? No, which way you drag it. But we do wanna have your, now, if you don't click that button, okay? If you forget to click the button, you're just gonna get a line, and that's incorrect for this homework. Because you need to enforce the integrity, referential integrity. Otherwise, you could end up having garbage data in your data tables. At least enforcing the referential integrity, when you have users actually doing data input, it would prevent them from putting too much, you know, garbage in. Okay? What do you guys think? We did two like in 10 minutes. You want me to build another one? Sure? Alright, so I'll close that out. It's still out there, right? So what are we gonna build? We're gonna create, should we create
Table.
inventory?
Sure.
Sure. Go back to home, get into my view, design view, and I'm gonna call it inventory. Alright, and so I don't like ID number, I'm gonna do inventory number, and that's a number, because I already put it in purchase inventory, right? And I have description and quantity on hand. And I'll leave description as short text, that's fine. And then quantity on hand, I'll make that a number as well. I'm gonna save it.
So description, what did you put?
I just use the default short text. But you have a lot of options, short, long. That would make sense. But you're really gonna either have text or numbers for this homework, okay?
So you would hit primary key for the inventory number then?
Well, yeah, and it's already there by default because it
Oh,
was the
okay.
first one, right?
So, but the purchase inventory, you'd have to click both of them?
which we did,
Okay.
right? We did, and we'll see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. Now, the other thing you're gonna notice if you get an error, because like, I close this out in order to go into my database tools, because I might get an error. Now, I've connected these two, but I've built this new table. So what am I gonna do?
Show table.
Yeah, I'll click on Show Table or right-click on my mouse and the same thing comes up. And I'm gonna add inventory. So I just double-clicked on it, but I could have clicked down here, right? So there's more than one way to do something. It's just your preference, right? Just like with Excel. And in this case, we're gonna link up item number to the inventory number, right? It's the same thing. And they're both our primary keys, so I'm gonna force referential integrity. Oh good, I didn't get an error message. It's always. But if you get an error message, it's probably 99% sure, double check what you put in the, is it number, or is it auto number and number, because you will get an error, okay?
So all primary keys have to have a link.
Well, yeah, so in this case, because we're relating these tables together in our database because it deals with the purchasing that we do with our vendors. So we need to relate, so the purchase and the purchase inventory, this covers a good portion of our source document, right? We would then need to, this would be my vendor name, we would need to add the vendor table and the employee table, and that's basically it, which I can do. Since I'm being videotaped and it's gonna go up on Piazza, we might as well get it done, right? Because then we can call it a day with our homework.
Is this our actual homework?
This is your actual homework assignment. That's why I said, I wanna try, because it's a small enough class, we're gonna have some nice luxuries. So that's the good news. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create another table, right? Oops. And I'm gonna call this one employee, right? I need an employee. All right, and so I'm gonna have employee number. What else do I have an employee? And then employee name, that one's easy. Awesome, we're gonna keep it as short text. Just do that. I'm gonna close it out. While I'm in here, I'm gonna create the other table, which is what's missing?
Vendor.
All right. And, go back to home, change my view, it's gonna make me save it, we'll call it vendor. Cool. So you see how this is just a simple structural example of a database. So that's all it's meant to do, is give you some experience. And then what do I have, vendor name?
And address.
Great. Vendor, if I can spell, there we go. And then address, I'm just gonna call it address, that's fine. And we'll keep that as short text too. All right, and I'm gonna save that. I'll close it out. Then I'll go into my database tools. I'm gonna create the other two relationships, okay? So this is my little work area. What am I gonna do? Show table. And I've got vendor that needs to be added and employees, right? Now, it puts it in your work area, but you can move this around, right? Because you don't need to have crazy lines everywhere. So, let's see, vendor connecting up here, that seems to make sense, as well as employee. So we'll keep this kind of over on this side. Just gonna connect it up like this. Enforce referential integrity, boom, done. Employee name, so employee number to employee number, enforce, boom, I'm done, okay?
So then is that becomes the foreign key, right? The employee
So
number on the purchases?
Yes, so my primary key is over here, employee number, but in the table of purchases, it's a foreign key, so that would be a great test question, right? Here's, where's your foreign key in the purchase table? In this case, you have two foreign keys in the purchase table, right? But you'll notice that your foreign keys are always gonna be living generally in your transaction tables, right? So here we have master file, master file is inventory, purchases is a transaction file, purchase inventory is a transaction file, right? All right, we're done with our homework.
Okay.
Get to work.
On the purchases, on the vendor number and employee number, do you have to put anything down for foreign key or just